this O-line coach weather out there right now?
Oh, it's really nice out there. Beautiful. We were inside today. I was hoping we were out. We went inside yesterday, and it was where all the alarm was hoping we were going to practice outside. It's about 35 degrees. So that's a lot.
Acceptable for the big guys to be
Yes,
outside. So.
yes.
How do you feel like your group's coming along?
I feel like I'm finally getting to play with the same group for the last 3 or 4 weeks, which has been really nice because it was just, we were just shuffling people around the first 6 or 7 games. It was a different lineup every week. At one point I had a true freshman and 3 redshirt freshmen starting out there, and it was difficult. You know what I mean? Not able to do things the way we want to, but I thought we're coming together, and they're communicating well, and they're playing well together right now.
Where do you see that the most, the communication? Where does that show up the most when you're on the field?
It shows up in goal line, short yardage situations where you got a lot of bodies around the ball, and you got to make sure you get hats on everybody. In open field stuff, it's not as hard because the boxes are a little lighter. When you get down there inside the 10, inside the 5, the safeties are low, and everybody's got to be schooled up on like who are we blocking, who are we starting with. And we got to make sure you get a hat on everybody, because that's half the battle. If you can get a hat on everybody, you give the running backs a chance to score. Not letting penetration occur.
When you're able to play an offensive line combination 4 straight games, where does it start showing up the most in terms of what you're able to do?
It starts showing up when you're running the ball. When you're able to get hats on hats and fit things up. With blitz, versus Louisville's a lot of blitz. They blitzed us almost 80% of the downs. They were blitzing us, and we were running the ball. We had heavy boxes, and that's when it shows up, when you got guys communicating, seeing the blitz pre-snap, seeing whatever it is, the leverage or the alignment that they're in, the linebacker leverage, and they're communicating with each other, and they're talking about the blitz they're going to see. And that's when you really see it, when you're able to run the ball versus blitz. And it's not just a bad blitz, it's actually a good blitz, and you pick it up. That's when it's really nice to say, okay, these guys are working well together.
Are you able to hang your hat that Tech has the most rushing yards against Louisville this year?
Say it again?
Are you able to hang your hat on the fact that your boys have the most rushing yards against Louisville?
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those guys, Louisville did a great job. Great job of blitzing the run. They did a really good job. They were really good tacklers in the secondary. We saw that all week. We knew, Cal wasn't quite as strong as secondary tackle, and we thought Louisville was really good. And they're really good at stealing signals. They're really good. They do a great job. It's all legal. They just do a really good job of making you constantly fight that.
Run blocking seems to be a little bit ahead of pass blocking right now. Is that typical of most O-lines? Is that unique to this particular offensive line, to the personnel?
It's usually typical. Pass pro is more difficult, especially when you're trying to go down the field with the ball and you're trying to hold on the ball a little bit. It's tough. Lynch is the right tackle is a redshirt freshman who's been forced into playing with some injuries, but he's getting better every week. And he's struggled with some pass pro stuff, so we try to help him out when we can over there at right tackle. He's going to be a great player. It's just it's just the way O-line goes, especially playing tackle young, is you take your lumps. I had the same issue with White Milam when I had him at West Virginia. He's a young player, and he played as a true freshman and sophomore and struggled, but it worked out pretty good for him. He's with the Jaguars right now, so he's playing well. So I'm thinking the same thing with Lynch. He's going to come on. Maybe not this year. He's getting better, but he's going to continue to get better. He's going to be a great player.
Your guys sort of encourage the coaching staff to run the ball more. I mean, you look at the backs you have. I mean, Terrian's a big dude. Marcellus is pretty big. Kyron, obviously, a big quarterback. Are they ever on the sideline like, hey, let's run it?
Of course, yeah. That's every line in the country. Hey, run the ball, run. They're wanting to run, especially when they go out there and they feel like they can make some hay and they can push some people around. We got this week we've got our hands full. Very, very large front. Their nose guard, number 6, he's 6'5", 340 pounds, and that's what they list him as. So I don't know what he really is, but he looks like he's about 280. He is a big human being. They've got a lot of big, long guys. Alabama struggled running the ball on them. Virginia actually ran the ball well on them. I think they've got more yards than anybody on them. It's going to be, their linebackers are big, they're physical. I mean, they're a Florida State team, as you guys have seen in the past before. We're going to go out there and we're going to strain and we're going to play hard, and we've got some stuff we're going to do. We're going to get after them. So, we look at it as we're excited about it. Our guys are excited about testing. Sending a redshirt freshman out there versus a redshirt senior, one of the biggest nose guards in the country. and he's excited. Altoona was excited about it. Can't wait to go out there and just play against great people.
I'll admit I haven't looked at the size of the nose guards you guys have played this year, but how much of a challenge is that for such a massive guy?
Oh, it's a
Altoona on the
challenge.
interior?
Yeah, it's a challenge. Altoona's going to have to play with great technique and strain, and just be able to get leverage on them. That's the thing about when you go against a big guy like that. You got to be able to leverage when you got to double team him when you can, and it's definitely going to be a battle. And it's been a battle there. You watch that kid. Every center he's gone against in the country, whether it was Alabama. He's done a great job with Clemson knocking them back. He's a big, long, strong, physical kid, and it's going to be a really big challenge for us to block these guys up front this week.
How have you seen the offensive identity of this team evolve over the season, and how has your group's development helped that?
I've seen as far as us, realizing like, hey, we're going to have to be a run-first team. And we didn't start that way, but we've morphed into that. And I think with the backs that we have, like especially when Terry got healthy, and he showed us what he could do, in the NC State game, kind of came out like, hey man, this kid's really good, because he was injured up to that point, and so seeing our backs and them being able to make people miss and make runs after contact, they've done a really good job of that, and that's kind of morphed into the tight ends are playing really well, really physical. We do a lot of stuff with them, and it always helps with that +1 run with the quarterback. We've got a 240-pound quarterback in Drones, and he runs angry. He runs downhill. You got to make him slide. He don't want to slide, and that mentality is kind of the same thing that the O-line's going off of. It just builds around that of just, hey, if he's going to be a tough guy, we're going to be a tough guy. The running backs are tough guys, so that's the mentality that we have right now.
And then the depth of this group is a question coming into the season. How's that second line coming along, those young guys?
It's coming along. We're still just young, and we're not physical enough right now. They're getting better. They're doing what they're supposed to do, but there's some bright spots on the young part of the O-line. With Gavin Crawford is really coming along. Nate Wright, as a true freshman, I've seen some really good things out of him. So I'm excited about those guys down the road. They're going to develop into good players for somebody.
Have you ever had someone like Tomas start at 4 different positions in a season?
I never have. I had him for 3 years at West Virginia. He never played anything but left guard. I never moved him. He played one spot, and then he comes here, and I think the last time I checked, he's got over 100 snaps at 3 different, and like 60 at the 4th, maybe over 100 in all 4 of them. But it helps him down the road. It's something we had to do. When we had all these injuries, we had to play him at left tackle. We had to play him at right tackle. And now since Lynch has come along, he's really settled into that guard spot. He's a really good guard. That's what he played for me at West Virginia. Was a freshman All-American, but. I've never had a guy play that many snaps in that many different spots.
How difficult is that to move around, especially playing at one spot, like on one side at one week, and then the next week you're shifting to the other side?
You got to be a seasoned guy. It helps that he's played a ton of snaps, and you got to be a seasoned guy to be able to do that. And to flip things in your head, really moving from guard to tackle is as big of a deal. But when you move from left to right, because everything flips over in your head as far as your stance. The play calls, the numbers, you're on the even side of the odd side, so it's something you got to be a seasoned guy. I wouldn't do it with a young player. You might turn some people loose. You don't want to do that,